Hey guys, what is up? Pope here, back with another VOD review. This time we're looking at an Emerald for Caitlyn, which is really cool because this is a brand new rank. Some people say this is kind of the old Platinum, some say that it's better than Platinum, some say it's worse than old Platinum was. I guess there's only one way to find out. But today we're looking at a Caitlyn player. They're against an Ashe, a Janna, playing with a Nautilus. This is a really interesting lane state, which I'm really excited to see how this is actually played out. In the sense that, you know, Caitlyn obviously wants to lane bully early. She wants to be, you know, taking control of the lane. She wants to be, you know, putting pressure on the enemies, using that range. However, with Ashe, excuse me, she's going to be able to contest that range quite a bit. If I remember correctly, Ashe's attack range is 600 and Caitlyn's is 650. So there's a very minimal difference going on here. And really what we're going to have is a battle of auto spacing. So let's see how the Caitlyn manages that as they enter into lane. Neither bot lane is leashing here, which is really, really important. Both of these lanes want to get priority. And so I really like that there is no leashing going on. However, the Nautilus does get spotted out. Another thing I want to point out here, just as we're getting started, as you can see, the Caitlyn is using fleet footwork, which that is the first thing I want to point out that is a great choice. Typically, Caitlyn's want to go lethal tempo. In many cases, because obviously they're going to be able to land a lot of auto attacks. But here's a good example where I want to pause. See how this volley is about to connect or come very close to connecting it. This should hit. And the issue is everything that Ashe does slows, like even her auto attacks, they're going to slow. And so Caitlyn's range advantage is really put to the test here. It's really difficult to use that auto spacing. And so what that is to say is that's a really good job from our Emerald player here, taking fleet footwork, because you're not going to be able to necessarily auto space and get that lethal tempo stacked up in such a way where it really matters. Of course, there may be situations where that's the case, but generally going fleet here is really good. The other thing I want to point out to you, for those of you watching, and this is another thing I want to say that our Caitlyn player is doing well, is that, as you can see, longsword 3 pots. I'll just hit play here again, but longsword 3 pots is really, really good. Why? Because this is a poke lane that she's playing into, right? The Doran's Blade, yes, it gives you a bit of extra HP, but generally much worse against poke lanes. So let's see. Caitlyn gets that early push. That's exactly what we want to see. Good follow-up. Okay, let's just go back here quickly. Let's watch this level 2 again. So again, for those of you that don't know, this is a VOD review for the Caitlyn, but for those of you, especially, you know, in plat or below, we got to remember the third melee minion in the second wave will give us level 2. That's when we want to start getting aggressive, right? So in this case, we can see it happening. Nautilus starts walking up. I think, yeah, I mean, the trap isn't excellent here, but that's okay. I really like that you stepped up and you did your best to take advantage of that level 2. You know, another thing that I'm really curious to see if this Caitlyn does, which you should be doing as Caitlyn into these poke lanes, you want to shove them in. Because if the lane is shoved in, they have a hard time poking you back, right? You typically have a minion advantage where things can get blocked, such as the Ashe volley. And as well, they're busy, preoccupied trying to farm under tower. Okay, so things are getting spicy here, but they do have prio. As we can see, the Rumble and the Graves have invaded their jungler. Okay, but they don't respond. I don't think there was much of a response to be had. So in this situation, let me just back up real quick, actually, again. After we shove in the wave, not fully, by the way, which we should be a bit more aggressive on this, we drop a ward here in the bush. I'd actually love to see this ward dropped out here, or this ward dropped here, right? A ward in this part of the bush, you have to ask yourself, who are we playing against? Well, in this case, we're playing against Graves in the jungle, right? Here he is currently invading our jungler. We're playing against Graves in the jungle. You have to ask yourself, what can the enemy jungler do, right? Well, Graves can actually path here, and he can use his E to get over the wall. And by that time, he's already on top of your ward. You wouldn't be able to see him anyway, right? I know you don't have vision of him coming this way. That's okay. But a ward either up here, you would spot what's happening with Scuttle Crab, or a ward here, you can see if Graves is going to approach you. Obviously, in that case, you would hope that Nautilus then can ward this bush, or maybe still drop a ward here, although it would be slightly redundant. But that's on you to also communicate that. Okay. So not bad trading. Like I want to see you. I want to see you get a bit more aggressive right here. Like Janice steps up way too far. In fact, I think she should be getting chunked very, very hard here. She's completely disrespecting Caitlyn's range, walking into the minion wave. I think, like, honestly, if we, I know I'm kind of nitpicking the wave stuff, but if we just go back here, you're not hitting the wave fast enough, and you're allowing the next one basically to pull up before you can get anything in, right? And so what ends up happening is you get into this awkward wave state where you know enemy jungle's bot, right? You dropped your ward here, but you end up realizing he's at your red. Now the wave is caught here, and you're scared of Graves coming in from behind, okay? So against these lanes, really in general, you never want the wave state to be here, especially against these poke lanes. Let's be more aggressive on the wave. So yeah, we saw this already. Okay, we can slow down here again. So yeah, now we're in a really awkward wave state, right? We do have a ward. We may not be able to necessarily see what Graves is doing. The other thing that I hope you did, again, want to point this out. I know we're taking it a bit slow in this early stage. Graves arrived. Let me just go back one more time. Graves arrived, and we see him spotted right here. He walks in. And as we see him, we should be checking tab, right? Graves has 16 CS. What does that mean? He's probably done 4 camps. In this case, I don't think he has. What did Graves do? I was watching you, of course, so I'm curious how he got his 16 CS. So he solos red. This is 8. Okay, this is 12. Where did he get it? I'm just gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent here. Where on earth does he get the extra 4 CS? Or maybe that's a bug? Yeah, 8. 12. Okay. So Graves must have okay, he must have smited this, and it was showing 16. Yeah, okay. I understand what happened here. That was a bug, and, you know, that's riot code right there, which is why I was confused. When Graves showed up, we should have been able to see he had 12 CS, right? Because we should be hitting tab. And, of course, he stole it, so now he has 16 CS. What does that mean? Because he only has red buff, he has not been to either blue buff, right? And we know from what our jungle has, he has his own blue, meaning his entire bot side is up. So this is basically worst case scenario. Your jungler is out of the game. Your wave state is in this really awkward spot because you didn't shove enough. And now Graves is obviously, where is he going? To his 3 camps, right? So now the enemy jungler is bot. Your jungler has really nothing to do bot side. So he might just go back top to get those camps again. It's just not a good wave state. And it mostly is created not because you can control what's happening in the jungle at this point, but because obviously you, I think, gave up a bit of control on the wave from what you could have had. So as we can see, the wave is still really awkward here while Graves is bot. Really good damage. So here's my point about this ward. It's not that helpful this early into the game. We know Scuttle Crab spawns at 3:30, right? So just appreciate that 3:30, by the way. Wow. But we know Scuttle Crab spawns at 3:30, and so obviously this is up. And again, if we're tracking our jungle properly, which I don't think anything too complex has happened, everything that we've seen so far in the map you could easily deduce just from a bit of practice. We know that this crab is going to be up, right? So this ward here, it's really doing nothing. You're not spotting this, and you're not spotting this, right? So more aggressive ward early, more aggressive on the wave early, especially into these poke matchups. See how you're kind of permanently stuck in this position. Thankfully, it's starting to push a little bit to you. Okay. Yeah, you just have to be chill. I mean, Viego's invading right now with Nautilus. The wave is coming to you, luckily. So, yeah, just make sure you get your XP. Okay, that was actually really well done, and I think this is a teaching moment. So obviously, you know, Emerald, guys, like I just want you to know, like Emerald, yes, it's the bottom of Emerald, but Emerald's like, it's not a joke of an elo. These players are really starting to know what's up, right? And as we can see, prop star Caitlyn player, Nautilus takes a terrible engage, absolutely terrible. And for those, for you support players, right, few reasons why this is terrible. A, they're level 4, both of them. Both of you are level 3. They straight up have an item advantage. And B, look at the size of their wave that you're trying to fight in. It's a Janna as well. They have lots of disengage. And now Nautilus is slowed. He's not going to be able to walk away. So that's something for you support players. But let's watch what our Caitlyn does to help out, right? As we can see, Caitlyn has dropped a trap right in the direct path of Ashe. That's really good. We want to see that because Ashe either has to make the decision to walk around that trap and hopefully Nautilus can escape her auto attack range, or she's going to step in that trap and Nautilus will for sure escape. So really, really well done there. Okay. So Viego's trying to come in. Doesn't look like it's going to work. Let's see what we decide to do here. Okay, so in this situation, watch when they back. So they base. I think you're doing just the hesitation thing a bit, right? So here, like you have Q up. Here's my opinion about how we shove this wave, right? In this context, again, we know that they're low, super low. They're going to base, okay? You can almost guarantee that. They're very low on resources, haven't based yet this game. All the signs point to them going to base here. So what I want to see you do is don't care about getting every CS in this type of context, right? Because what we have going on here is a slow push now towards them. So you're stuck in a position where they're already in base and your wave is slow pushing. If you were to just base here, right, and then walk all the way back, we're talking at least 45 seconds or so, right, for you to buy and walk all the way back. By that time, your wave is going to be stacked and it's going to be up here. You're going to lose multiple waves. I'm sure you know that. In Emerald, that should definitely be something that we're aware of, okay? So in this situation, I'm leaving this minion to die. I don't care. The tower can hit it. And in this instance, I'm seeing tower as an asset here, where I actually need to, yeah, you want to get all these CS, but I'm actually starting to walk up on the wave and Q through like this, right? We need to get this ASAP. And this is a good point for a lot of you, lower elo players. We need to be really expediting things that we're doing. In a sense, this is my playstyle, and the more you watch my channel, you'll learn my playstyle. It's about speed running. Speed running. All right, boys? Learn those words. because now you've queued through here, you're waiting 7 seconds, you don't have queue for this wave, Nautilus isn't pushing. I would also be spamming help, spam help, 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 help on the wave, right? You want to push or spam, you know, you're on my way. Let him know in some way, shape, or form that you want to shove here. Okay, I don't see any pings. So you see now your queue's up. You're gonna get into a bad situation here. I'm telling you. You are going to put the wave right about here, and they're going to be back. They're going to be able to hold that while you are going back. You're going to lose. I think you're going to lose a lot of minions here just because of some wave mismanagement. Okay, now we queue. Yeah, and now we're trying to base. I know what you're thinking. I want to base on a cannon wave, right? So again, for those of you bot lane players, or really any lane, but generally this is more true in bot lane. You want to base on cannon waves because it takes much longer for the enemy to come back and to actually like kill the whole wave, right? Because cannons are difficult to kill. They have a lot of HP, a lot of, you know, resistances compared to the other minions. But the problem that you've set up here is like look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 casters, 3 melees, and a cannon versus 3 casters, 3 melees, and a cannon. So these 3 melee, or these 3 casters, are going to absolutely ensure that the wave continues to push this way. It's a really bad situation, and that just comes out of, again, not being aggressive enough on that wave, right? So if the red side wants to, they will just hold this, and in Emerald you're going to start to see people holding waves. I think Ashe is autoing the wave a bit too much, but whatever. So I think that, again, like, you're starting to see both sides of Emeralds. Like, Ashe clearly knows not to, you know, not to just try to hard shove this wave, but she doesn't know enough that she could have literally let your cannon just kill everything, right? You would have lost so much here. So you do kind of get saved a little bit by her. We come back with a Noon Quiver buy, obviously. I think we probably want to go towards Static Shiv. I'm not entirely sure what you buy this game, but we'll see. Okay. Good combo. Good flash. Okay. That was good. I think the Caitlyn mechanics were fairly on point here. We're using our traps well. So, I don't know if you did this intentionally, but this is another thing I want to point out. You did really well. You actually waited until the instant that exhaust was finished on you, then you flash and get that auto attack, right? Exhaust mitigates your damage output by quite a bit, a little less than about half your damage. And there's a good chance that, you know, Ashe might live if you try to flash auto with exhaust still on you. So really, really like that. I think that was well played if that's what your intent was. I think you let Janna off with, you think you could have for sure auto attacked her once there, but that's nitpicking pretty hard. Okay. Now we go to help with Dragon. Alright, let's see how we handle this. Okay. So you're going to put yourself into another bad situation here by overstaying. The obvious choice is to try to go and gank here, but the thing is, you have to be considerate of, like, your own tempo, right? So here's something that I want to try to illustrate, and hopefully it makes sense to you, because I'm going to talk a little bit about tempo. This is for everybody, by the way. This is for any elo, this is for any role, okay? Yes, we're talking about AD carry, but it applies to the jungle, applies to top, applies to mid. Okay, let's pretend like this here is the time. Okay, we'll put T for time. All right. So imagine that this is like the game time is passing, going from left to right. And then this axis is basically like what, maybe we could say, like, what opportunity you have to do things. Okay, so you know, you kind of have this standard I guess you could say tempo line graph. I don't fucking know. Okay, you have this line, basically, let's say you get a kill right here. what's going to happen is your tempo actually spikes because the enemies can't respond to anything, right? So in a very short amount of time, your tempo, your ability to do something spikes really hard. But it only lasts as long as your enemy is out of the game. The second they spawn, your tempo is basically over, right? You need to be resetting, you need to match them out on the map. So in this case, your spike after killing Ashe was getting Dragon, right? So we'll put D for Dragon. After you got Dragon, you can see Ashe is on the map, your tempo is gone, right? You're basically going back to like the standard tempo array, if you want to put it, right? You're kind of back on this trajectory. You need to base here in order to match. What is happening actually is now that you're going mid and Ashe is coming back bottom, you're losing all the tempo that you just got from that kill, and you're gonna now lose, I guarantee, at least a decent amount of CS, or maybe even a turret plate, depending on what happens here. So let's see. So now in order to save your mistake of going mid, you actually try to run bottom. Here's the issue. She's off a fresh buy, you're sitting on a bunch of gold. She's now gonna hit you, you're gonna be stuck on her tower until someone comes to save you, or she ints and dies, basically, right? Now you're totally at the mercy of Ashe. Okay. So let's see how you get yourself untangled from this. Okay, trying to fight using the ulti advantage. I really like that. I mean, you basically use the only advantage that you possibly could have had to save yourself. And Ashe ints, okay? So so we were just talking about this, boys. Like, look, like you can, this is the crazy thing about League, especially below probably like mid diamond, you know, you can put yourself into sticky situations and your enemies will oftentimes save you, but we can't always count on that. Look, you did really well by using the one advantage you had over her, which was ulti, right? She knew that she couldn't get hit by your Q, she had to kind of juke around, couldn't auto attack you back, and then you ulted her, right? Got your ults, got the damage. Then she inted by overstaying and died. Lane completely saved. However, if you want to start climbing, if you want to start to be better than Emerald players, you cannot be putting yourself in that situation. Alright. So we get a tower plate. Again, like, I think... Here's the thing. Here's the way you need to think about this. One tower plate while they're walking back, completely fine. If you're still autoing the tower when they arrived, you're already too late. This is going to die too fast. The push is going to be coming back your way. If she wants to hard shove this, you're lucky that Janna isn't here, by the way. Otherwise, this would be even worse for you. Because now you really need to base with all the gold that you have. And you could potentially lose a lot. Just straight up give back that tower plate. We're still not using our tempo properly. So I think that's a huge kind of theme of this. Okay, see what happens here. So your jungler comes and bails you out. Let's see. I mean, you're not tanking tower here. Okay. Isn't it good here for you to, like, you don't want to start tanking tower, but after your low health Master Yi Alpha Strikes drops out tower aggro, you have to auto attack. You have to use your HP bar here to help out with the dive. Okay. You do get the auto off, by the way, which is good. I think here as well, you're being a little too passive, but that's okay. It was good to auto attack the Ashe. I didn't see you do that at first, so good job. Honestly, the theme of this lane so far, if I'm being totally honest, is you have given your enemies every opportunity to come out of this lane very, very strong, and they haven't taken it. And you know, that's not necessarily how we want to approach the game. I think your mechanics are clearly like really on point. I think you know, if you clean up that map awareness a little bit, or so excuse me, not map awareness, but the wave management and you know, using your range advantage, your oh, okay, I'll be quiet here. Let's see, another dive, easy peasy. So I mean, the enemy bot laners are completely leaving each other out to dry. This is pretty hilarious, actually. Okay, so question is, right, like, do we base here? The answer is no, we don't base here. You're sitting on 1100 gold. Okay. What are your items? You have Shiv. So I'm not a fan of this whatsoever. Okay, look. This is another misuse of tempo. And how did we use our tempo? Right? If you guys remember, basically the little, my crappy little graph that I showed, what happened? We know that Ashe is just coming out of base, okay? Jan is dead, alright? We're about to know that Graves is bot, sure. But everything that we have from their bot lane just being totally obliterated here is going into taking the rest of this tower. What I want what I want you guys to think, and this is how you can start to understand tempo, or at least start to put it into practice, is 1 kill equals like 1 thing that you get. Sometimes that's like a minion wave, right? Sometimes that's a minion wave, or sometimes that's, you know, a plate. Yeah, I love my writing. Sometimes that's a plate. Sometimes that's a dragon, right? Sometimes that's drag. You know, there's a few things. It may, and this kind of scales, right? It scales with how far into the game you are and how many kills you got, right? So if you ace a team, you're gonna have a whole lot of time to do multiple things probably, because no one can respond to you. If it's 20 minutes into the game, you're gonna have a whole lot of time to do something, even if it's 1 kill, because they're gonna be dead for a long time. This early in the game, 1 kill equals like 1 thing, right? In this case, you're going to be able to finish the tower. Then you need to just insta reset, spend that gold. You have 1100, you could get Berserker Greaves. Then you come out, then you go to Dragon. This is going to be another case here in which, you know, and you clearly sat in the bush. Like, I think you wanted to base, but your teammates, it looks like they started pinging Dragon. Like, I don't know why, you know, there's no way, shape, or form this is a good play, right? We know that their jungler's bot, their bot laners are back on the map, right? There's no universe where this is good to go for Dragon. Like, I guess in a way, what I want to say is that I think in the lower elos, we often feel like, and this is like consistent in a lot of the clients that I've been having, a lot of the VODs that I've been looking at, consistently, if you get something, if you get a kill, right? We often feel like the, I guess, the advantage that we got from getting that kill, which in this case was, you know, turned into us getting tower, we feel like that is residual. It persists in our minds longer than it actually does in game, right? So in this case, you can tell by the way that blue team is posturing. They're like, oh, we just got a kill, we got turret. Like, look, they don't have any pressure. But in reality, all of them are back on the map. All of them are back on the map. You have gold unspent. They do not, right? Even if you are slightly ahead in kills, in gold, they do not have gold unspent. So I'm not a fan of this at all. And I know you can control the actions of your team. Sometimes as AD carry, you don't have as much agency as other people early. But with that said, I want you to try to communicate with your team, try to ping. Look, it works out, but we cannot make results-based decision making. I think in higher elos you would potentially just lose the game off something like that. Okay. So again, we're overstaying, I think, a little bit. Now we're overstaying a lot. I'm just gonna I just want to show, right? 2100 gold. 2100 gold. right? Guys, this is Emerald. Like, and I'm not trying to flame. I'm not trying to, you know, overreact, like anything like that. Like we see it with our own eyes, right? This is an issue that is persistent in a lot of elos. So in this huge fight that happens now, which is a really important fight in this game, we have like, let me see what items you have. You don't have Berserker Greaves, and you basically have Berserker Greaves plus an entire major component, right? Whether it's BF Sword or, you know, whatever it may be that you want to buy next. But this we're talking about a lot of damage here. Small mistakes often compound in League, and now we're stuck. Okay, you're gonna base here? No. Just base, my friend. Just base. Okay. Okay, we cancel her back again. Just base, lad. Sometimes like this, you gotta take your medicine, you know, in real life, right? Sometimes you gotta take that. Buckley's doesn't taste good, right? We don't want to lose our tempo. We don't want to feel like we're doing nothing by basing. But hey, at the end of the day, like, that's what is best for you, right? In some sense, what the Pope might say is sometimes we've got to say our hail fakers in order to come out stronger on the other end. Okay. Okay. So let's just back it up here a little bit, see what's going on. So we find a pick onto Rumble. By the way, Zhonya's against when Caitlyn is on the enemy team, like, you may as well not buy it. You're asking to die. Okay. So we don't exactly know where they are. Now we do. Okay. I think, obviously, I think that was a really nice net over the wall. Alright. Alright. We're kind of fishing. Okay, managed to stay alive. What are we looking at here? Okay. Again, I think we're talking about tempo stuff here, right? This, like, look, she at the end of the day, like, do you have some damage? Yes. This girl still has passive. She's got 2 levels on you, right? You're actually, I would say you're actually genuinely in danger here. And if they had vision on you, I think there's a really good chance that you die here, or, you know, at the very least you're probably lucky that there's a plant here. Yeah, I can't say I'm a fan of this. I want you to just go back mid, go to where the gold is. Let's keep it simple in this case. You know, I've talked about, like, percentage plays. I think this is a very low percentage fishing here. We should just be back mid, soaking that XP. Okay. I like the mid control there. I wish you were there a bit earlier, but I like the way that panned out still. Then we go for Dragon. Always good to go for Dragon off of, like, lane priority, you guys. And in this case, mid priority when we're in the mid game is very, very important. So good job. You're waiting for a net. Okay. Let's see how this panned out. So where do we use our net? Gotcha. Okay, so the only reason why I don't like net usage here is just because we already know based on, like let's look, right? So we have all the information right now to know Ashe is here. We're about to see Graves. We know TP's coming in, right? So by the time you use net, we can see, like, so many people on the enemy team. Very good chance this turns into a big fight. I know you want to just, like, combo this guy, but at the end of the day, you're using your major escape tool just as a form of some minor damage here, I think you could just start autoing him. I think greediness does get the better of you a bit there. Okay, yeah, so we do go for that BF sword, the zeal. All right. Honestly, this game is a matter of a few minor mistakes, a few medium-sized mistakes. Like I wouldn't say you haven't run it down at any point. You know what I mean? You've overstayed. You haven't used your tempo well. You haven't managed your gold well. Those things are minor to, I would say, like moderate mistakes, but they compound. They compound over a long time. Okay, so we're gonna shove. Okay, I think so. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know, right? Because I'm not watching all your games. So I don't know if this is a theme across all your games. But again, as we can see, like, there's just a bit of, I guess, hesitation. I mean, in this case, like, just, if this guy wants to die, man, just let him die. Just let him die. You just be mid. Be mid here. Be where the wave is pulling up. Get that shoved in, right? Like, if they're going to push by killing your teammate, you got to make sure they can't kind of double up on you here by having something like mid control. Just have all the little things in your control. He's gonna go do that for you. I wish that was you, especially as AD carry. Like, you want to have that gold. So we go back bottom here. Okay. Okay. So I think we're losing sight here of what is gonna win us the game, right? In this case, now that the game has gone awry, yes, you have 2 items. Great. I'm glad you have 2 items. Caitlyn needs more than that, though. This is actually Caitlyn's like low point in the game, right? Like, as you know, as a Caitlyn player, I'm sure Caitlyn starts off kind of up here early game, but then she takes a pretty wide dip, and then actually she gets kind of strong again late game when she can abuse that range, abuse that insane, you know, headshot damage. But there is like a 2 to 3 item dip here where Caitlyn is not nearly as good as most other AD carries. So we actually want to, especially in a losing game, we want to leapfrog this as much as possible, get to that like 4 item spike. All right. So I just think the priorities are a little off here. Good job going to take that wave. I think that was really nice. I don't mind like when there's some opportunity to try to chunk out Camille here, but then you have to recognize, like, this is not really your jungle right now. So instead of pathing this way, I want you to go around here, go and even just go directly where the wave is, right? Let's keep our head on our shoulders a little bit more, identify where that gold is going to be. Okay, so the game is starting to come to a close here, I'm pretty sure. So we're competing for waves a little bit. It's good to shove mid. I'm shocked red team is letting you guys do this. Okay, I mean, they're kind of not. Okay, you get the dragon. We gotta get out. Okay, has flash. Okay, I mean, at least you get out. I think the net usage was a little bit weird again. Probably would have something very similar to say about it than the first time. We're gonna definitely have to give up at least inhibitor here. Okay, let's see how this goes. I just want to point out, by the way, as you can see, guys, like in this whole game, would lethal tempo have done like actually anything? Like, hell no, dude. Hell no, lethal tempo. Just for those of you that might be hating on, you know, the fleet footwork, I think it's just watching this, clearly the better rune choice this game. So just want to reiterate that was good. Okay. Managed to keep the game alive. Continue farming a little bit. Alright. Okay, Camille screws up. That was a good job kiting. Good trap placement. We're trying to use that range. Keep free firing. I like it. What was that? Wait, what was that little dash you just did? Do you use Gale Force here? Is that what that was? Ah. Okay, so you missed Gale Force. Yeah. You missed... Yeah, it automatically targets people. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Good job. Good positioning that fight overall. I think it was good trap placement. Maybe got a little bit too close without knowing where Camille was. But that's okay. I think overall that was good positioning. Good understanding that you could just free fire there. Overall, really straightforward. Okay. So we cancel our back. We have 1,700 gold. Let's get back. Let's spend that, right? You are, I guess in a sense what I'm trying to say is you are intentionally keeping yourself in Caitlyn's weakest part of the game by not going back to spend your gold here, right? That's maybe one way to think about this. Now Camille is looking to chase you down. This is gonna get real bad. So another calamity off of just not basing. There might be a bit of tilt in this game. I'm not entirely sure. Again, guys, like, this is nothing I say is to flame, to say anyone's bad. We are all a part of a learning journey. We all have things to work on. I have so much that I need to work on in my game that I'm trying to analyze and do all the time. But that's why we review VODs, right? In this case, you know, in this game, while I don't know if it's a pattern for this player or not, we need to be spending that gold. Okay, so we're going towards that Lord Doms. I don't mind Lord Doms for a third item. You guys, you know, for those of you watching, you shouldn't mind Lord Doms for a third item in a lot of cases as well. Particularly because, you know, post-durability patch, which was, I believe, 12.12 or 12.10, people are way tankier these days. Yes, there's a lot of damage in the game, but people just naturally have so much armor, especially by, you know, this late in the game. I think one thing here I do want to just look at briefly is one thing in your rune choices that, yeah, I guess I'm a little just curious about, or just thinking out loud about. So this game you decided to go Ku, but if we look at it, actually Camille has more HP than you. Graves has more HP than you. Janna has almost the same HP than you, and you are 3 levels up on her. And Ashe has pretty much, let me see, I think she has like pretty much the same HP as you. Click on Ashe, 22. She has more HP than you. So actually, I think in this game, cut down would be doing a lot here. Just something to think about. I do know a lot of higher elo players are starting to take cut down a little bit more often, especially on those 80 carries. You know, you like that class of champions is very, very squishy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so they get Baron here, and I think this is basically where they end. So I hope this was helpful for you. You know, just some things to mention. Like, at the end of the day, we need to be managing our waves and our gold better. I think those are two things. Manage our gold a bit better, and what I mean by that, unfortunately, we do get a defeat. But what I mean by that is, like, just spend your gold more, especially on Caitlyn. Spend that gold way more. Use that tempo a little bit more efficiently. You get a kill, do one thing, whether it's a tower plate, whether it's finishing off a tower, whether it's doing dragon, but then base, right? So use that tempo, use that gold, and I think that, you know, if you communicate with your team, whether they listen to you or not, you're doing all you can. However, I think overall, like, your mechanics are clearly on point. I think you're a great Caitlyn player. I truly mean that. And I think you have a lot going for you as far as like understanding, you know, you got aggressive at level 2, you got aggressive at level 6 when you had that advantage. Like, those are great fundamental things that you know, but let's start to implement it a little bit further with the gold and tempo. So look guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I have so much more content coming out, and if you enjoyed, I would really appreciate it if you left a like and and subscribe to the channel. This channel's been getting a lot of support already, and I just want you guys to know I am working so hard to continue to improve this, to bring out better League content. All right, boys, Pope Pay out.